Hi Aquarius, and welcome to your November 2020 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky here to talk to you about the awesome energy coming in for your sign in this month of November. We have a lot to talk about this month, Aquarius, and I knew coming into your reading as I've been meditating on your energy, I knew that this month and the oncoming months are going to really start to focus on you. We are getting so close to this incredible Jupiter-Saturn conjunction at 0 degrees of your sign, moving right onto the cusp of your Capricorn and your sign in December. So this is the last full month of having Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto in Capricorn. We've been having that transit for so long now. It's been retrograde, it's been direct, and look at where we are. I mean, it does really add a tough element to certain experiences. And but that's not much longer. There's going to be a super huge shift in tone coming in December, which I know that you will be very excited for, Aquarius. This is really going to elevate Aquarius and send Aquarius straight to the front edge of experiences and really start to invigorate you guys with some expansive but also applicable and responsible energy, which is going to be like a perfect sort of straight shot for you guys into extreme motivation. So it seems that it's come a little bit early. The best thing for November for an Aquarius is to just hold steady, to get all of your affairs in order, to make sure that all of the hinges of your life are like well oiled and well maneuvering. Really pay attention to that. Really pay attention to anything that's not moving well or has any rigidity about it. So just like a door starts to make really loud noises when its hinges are not well oiled, you can see that there are still a few things like that in your life, and it's really important to get things working well for Aquarius, because you don't want in the next year to have a lot of hiccups or old unresolved issues that take or eclipse your focus. So that's the best thing for November. Like, I already see having the Fool and having Six of Swords, Ten of Pentacles, Queen of Wands coming up, Knight of Swords too. Having the Fool and Knight of Swords in one reading is like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to move forward. I'm ready to jump into action. I'm ready to, pursue these new dreams. And I just love to see that you guys are feeling that way. It's hard to feel that way right now. There is a heavy doom and gloom type of vibe with the Scorpio season, as well as all this direct Capricorn stuff. And I love that you guys can already sense and feel the oncoming optimistic new wave. So it's really cool that you feel that way, but hold up, Aquarius. I think that you've got to really still keep things a little bit cautious and a little bit reserved. And I don't want you to feel like you have to hold everything back. I don't want you to feel like you have to repress your feelings or anything like that. But it's going to be especially timely next month to make like big shifts or to make big moves. And I would really take a second look at everything that you're wanting to push forward right now and make sure that all of these surrounding minutia support it. Have I done all of the background work that needs to be done to facilitate these changes that I want? I'm also feeling that you guys get very global in the next year. Again, having Jupiter and Saturn conjunct in your sign is very collective and very oriented towards travel and understanding other cultures and other people's experiences. So there's going to be a very strong interest, I think, for Aquarius in those areas. So for some of you, it could look like going back to university, or it could also look like traveling abroad or accepting some kind of job that deals with traveling. That's at least indicated for your sign as Jupiter and Saturn come together in it. But it could be anything really, new creative outlets, new careers, new, more expansive relationships. That's all coming. And it's really cool that you guys are already catching on to it and you're already pushing through. But what I would do if I were you, and all the fixed signs are kind of here. I can kind of see this as a Scorpio myself. And I would say that Leo and Taurus can also kind of feel that fixed Jupiter-Saturn conjunction oncoming. I feel a few new motivations too. I feel a few new things that I have never really had a lot of purpose toward starting to come on the horizon. I'm like, wow, this is really cool. But as I've noticed those new things, I've also seen that certain very old, very contextual aspects of my life are now coming to the forefront. It's kind of like you've got to deal with this context before you just, fly off into the distance. So that does feel like what November is a lot about, is really getting the context in order, really understanding identity. Okay, this Scorpio season, especially for an Aquarius, deals so much with your identity and how you want to alchemize that. It does feel like some of you guys are up for a bit of an identity shift. All of the fixed signs, it feels like, are there. And it also feels like you want to maybe transmute something in your life. So this career that you've been in for a long time, maybe you want to still be it or still do those jobs, and maybe you like it, but something about it may not really be suiting your identity, and you want to kind of somehow have both. Like, so maybe it looks like a different department of your current company, or something along those lines. There's a shift that is definitely going to happen for you guys in regards to identity, from what I'm seeing here. The Fool is your only major arcana card this month, so something's totally new, and I think it's still on the horizon. And I think that you want to give yourself as much time this month to sit with it and dream about it and see consciously what your wants really are right now. I don't think there's anything wrong with Aquarius taking a bit of time off. You guys have Four of Swords, and if it's not a bit of time off, maybe it's signing yourself up for as little as possible right now, not taking on other people's flotsam and jetsam. I think that's really important for you guys. Finishing something that you've wanted to finish for a long time, finishing, I don't know, like a story or a book, or finishing, I don't know, a game, or finishing a project, an art project that you haven't done. This sounds like very micro. I know this sounds like not that big of a deal, but it does seem like in order to justify this extreme new wave that's coming on, there are a lot of things that have to be tied up and concluded, okay? And that's where us fixed signs can get a little bit, in our own heads with things, because we fixate, we try to solidify things and stabilize things. And if we leave the previous context for the new one and it's not fixed up and put together and done, it leaves an area for, or a room for error. It leaves room for error in the new context. So that's what November is about for you guys, is getting everything ready. Okay, making sure that you understand where you've been, what you've represented, and how that ties into your next chapter. And other than that, just enjoying the dreaming process of it, because December is going to come, mainly like the late December is going to come, and it's going to place you. Okay, it's going to really place you into the new wave. And November is a gift because you get sort of an executive call over it. And with this time, if this time is just kind of wasted, or if this time is just not really considered, you might feel like you have less autonomy in the new year. So you can really choose your autonomy now. You can choose your everything right now. We are major creators right now. So anyway, Aquarius, let's talk about the week to week, and we will see what else is coming up for you. So in the first week of November, you have the Fool rooted down by Six of Swords. So I love those two cards together. It's not really easy though. Six of Swords does kind of weigh down the energy of the Fool, and it makes it seem more substantial or more consequential. Like these new decisions that you're making, or these new paths that you're going to walk, they have a permanence about them, or they have a need for purpose to not be negotiable within them. That's really interesting to think about. How has purpose been a negotiable thing for you over the last few years? In your current place, what role does purpose play? Have things that you've really invested a lot of your energy into given you the result that you've wanted or needed? What results have you wanted or needed from the current path that you're on? And how do you, moving forward, want to think about purpose and the results that you get from the energy you invest? How do they affect, and how do you want them to affect your contextual life, or your home life, or your relationship life? Really great to kind of set those guidelines and set those intentions in the first week of November. Second week, Aquarius, Ten of Pentacles rooted down by Queen of Cups. Emotional connection to what you've gained is what that says to me. Emotional connection to the ancestry, legacy, lineage, history, There is a very, very ancestral energy coming in November and leading us all the way to your season in January. So we can really benefit from understanding our ancestors, from understanding what their identities were, what they pushed to do, what they wanted, their guidelines in comparison to what we were just talking about. So yeah, doing like genealogy could be good in the second week of November, or learning more about ancestors, visiting the graves of ancestors could be very good for anybody, okay? Because you can get such a psychic download with the combination of Scorpio and Capricorn energy in that week. You can get a very strong psychic download of like your ancestors. So if you can't decide how to answer a question, or if there's something that you just like, gosh, I don't know which way to go, it's like a crossroads, I think that your ancestors might tell you, or you might really be able to get an inclination by like visiting the grave of an ancestor, or by doing something that an ancestor used to do. Say you have an ancestor who used to, make blankets or make clothing. Through making blankets or clothing, you can absolutely access an ancestral sort of muscle memory that will tell you psychically how to move forward. Really cool stuff like that coming in. Also, for some of you, that looks like inheritance or just wisdom from ancestors. It's more like wisdom. With Queen of Cups, it could be less tangible and more of an emotional thing, but how valuable that could be for you. Week number 3, you have 4 of Swords rooted down by Knight of Swords. So that marks 1 month, Aquarius, 1 month left in the third week of November until Jupiter and Saturn move into your sign. And I think that you've got some resting and rebuilding to do, okay? I think that you've got to pull back. I think you've got to take some of these ancestral messages. I think you've got to consider what your new wave looks like. And I think that you've got to do as little as possible. Because it's crazy. I mean, Jupiter and Saturn are going to be in your sign, all of 2021, and Saturn, for like most of 2022 at least as well. So it's going to be like 2 very active years of your life coming up. So anything relating to lack of energy, autoimmune disease, anything that saps you or keeps you from being able to use your energy at its highest level, got to be figured out by the third week of November. So yeah, a doctor's appointment, third week of November, therapy, some type of holistic medicine, cleanses, detoxes, anything along those lines are very good. You can get really quick progress with it in the third week of November. The cusp of Scorpio and Sagittarius is one of the best times to release something, to let go of a bad emotional cycle, to release toxins, to release habits. Best times, third week of November. Every year we have a great opportunity to work with the seasons, and all of November is good for that, really, but especially that third week of November. Okay, week number 4, Aquarius, you have Page of Cups rooted down by Queen of Wands. So there is maybe a bit of a volatility to look at, like, am I feeling like I want to cry one moment, and then am I feeling like I want to, dance a moment later? I would also think about your creativity and your goal mind, like what goals you're setting, because you can definitely set a good new goal in the 4th week. Also, you need to listen to something deeper, though. What Page of Cups and Queen of Wands have in common is that there is an unspoken language, or there is something a little bit unclear. And that might be a tender point of your reading this month, is like, it would be nice for maybe things to be just a touch more clear, or more easy to know exactly what it is that you want to do, or the exact, identity that you're striving for. It feels like you do really have to listen carefully. You have to listen to like your ancestors. You have to listen to the changes in your own emotions throughout the day. And you have to like draw conclusions based on these more subtle, nuanced things, which Aquarius can be very talented with. Although as an air sign, you tend to like a more deliberate, more clear-cut question and answer, which is not really the case this month. It's a very psychic month. It's a very emotionally motivated month for you as well. And, 4 of Swords and 6 of Swords, really do watch out for the health, okay? Really do watch out for overdoing it, overstraining yourself, tasking your body or your mind, okay? Although, despite that, I don't think that there's much area for mistake or much area for issue. You just want to really try to not get too impulsive too. Okay, again, the Fool. It's like I hope that we'll see that next month for you guys too. I hope we'll see the Fool coming up because that would be perfect for like the third week of December. But it's a little bit in this month, in that first week of November, it's like undercooked. So watch out for undercooked impulsive decisions. Okay. Undercooked impulsive decisions to suddenly move or to suddenly take a journey or to suddenly make a big change. Some of you can do it really well. It's not bad for all Aquarius, but if something does feel undercooked, definitely pay attention to it, or even overcooked or overdone or overconsidered, overhyped. Okay, all of that stuff is really good for you to take a look into. But overall, keep it simple, keep it rested. Enjoy a bit of time unactivated. Could be the best thing for you guys. Like, it's coming. Over the next 2 years, you guys are activated. So it's really beautiful to just maybe have a break this month or to have, a time of non-activated pleasure. Okay, so that would really be the best thing for November. But anyway, you guys, thank you so much for being here on YouTube. I'm going to put together an extended reading on Patreon. For those of you who haven't checked out the Patreon page yet, I do hope you'll join. I'm going to link it below as well as in the center of the screen. And you get a lot of stuff over on Patreon. I do weekly forecasts as well as these readings, early, ad-free, as well as extended. And otherwise, your likes and comments here on YouTube make my day. Let me know how the reading resonated below. And on that note, I will see you guys later. Let's jump over to Patreon for your extended now. Bye, Aquarius.